Justice Scalia was great. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen. So the next president is going to probably be appointing 3. It could be 4, and it could even be 5. If you let Hillary Clinton get in there and appoint the kind of people that she appoints, honestly, your country will never recover. Somebody said it would take 100 years. If it takes 100 years, that means your country's never going to recover. It will never, ever recover. So what I did, because a lot of people said, oh, I don't know, he's never been a politician. I am so honored not to have been. I've been doing this for now 10 months, and we're number 1. I've spent a lot of money, but still less than other people. I think I'm a very good messenger. Have I done a good job? I mean, have I done a good job? I think so. I think so. I think we've all done a good job. You know what? You've done a good job, too, because you want to see it change. You know, they used to call it the silent majority. Not anymore. We call it the noisy majority because we're not going to take this crap anymore. They call it the noisy majority. That's what we are now. So we started with trade, and I really, when I initially came down, I started with trade, and I started with strong borders. I started with we will not have illegal immigration. And by the way, people, we want them to come into our country, but we want to come into our country legally, 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 legally. Oh, we're going to build the wall. Don't worry. We're going to build the wall. You know, I shouldn't tell you this story. I should not tell you this story. Under no circumstances should I tell you, so I'll tell you anyway. But when I came here, I met with some great supporters in the back. Amazing people, great people from New Mexico. Some actually came in from Texas. Where are those supporters? Where are they? Look, my supporters don't even get good locations. Can you believe it? But they came in from Texas. Do we like people from Texas? Yeah? I do. Most from New Mexico, but we had some from Texas. And I said, let me ask you with New Mexico. You got to ask me this. So, do you like me talking about the border or not? Because I'm not, you know, who the hell knows? No, you know what they said? Like 40 people said in the back, said, absolutely. And don't forget to talk about the wall. We all want that. We need that. We want it. So what's going to happen is the following, folks. So many countries, it started with the military where you've seen over the last couple of weeks, they're just absolutely killing me. So what happens is this. I'm on a certain show, and the guy, oh, no, not another one. Where is he? How old is this kid? How old is this kid? Get out of here. Still wearing diapers. Look at this kid. Telling you, the kid looks like he's 10 years old. I've never seen that. It's unbelievable. That's the youngest protester I've ever seen. Actually, Ted Cruz had a very young one also. I've never seen anybody like that. All right. And did you see? I said, get out of here, and he ran out. It was great. I wish everybody. So we left Indiana, and Indiana had a big problem. And all of our states have a big problem. Because of NAFTA and other things, stupid things, that Clinton signed, by the way, and really destroyed after he left, so much destruction. But Clinton signed NAFTA, and NAFTA has stripped companies out of your state, stripped them out of every state. They're all over. You look at New England, you look at New York, all of these states that I won, I got to know so well. I was in New York all my life, and I know Syracuse. I know Rome, New York, the real Rome. Rome, New York. I know Albany. I know Suffolk County. I know everything. Long Island, Bethpage. I know them all. And you go through and I see New York, because New York was amazing. New York was amazing. You know, I won by such a margin in New York, they've never seen anything like it. And during that week, I campaigned all over the state. Now, I knew the state because I lived there, but I never realized how bad. You look at Syracuse, all these places, they've been stripped. If you look, jobs down 50%, manufacturing down 55, 60%, people, companies moving to Mexico, deals lost to China because of currency devaluation. They've treated us like a bunch of dumb babies, folks, dumb babies. And we're going to turn it around. But listen, then I go to Pennsylvania. I won Pennsylvania. I won Maryland. I won everything. I won Maryland. I won Connecticut. I won Delaware. I won Rhode Island. And in going around and campaigning, I've never seen anything like it. The factories are all like, you look at them and you could see 20, 25 years ago they were vibrant. They're all empty. You can buy them for $2. I don't know if anybody wants to make a real estate deal. I wouldn't even advise doing it unless I win, in which case I would buy those factories very quickly, I will tell you, if I win. You want to get rich in real estate? Go up and buy some of those factories, take options to those factories, hope that Trump wins. Those factories will be booming again, folks, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Now, you'll have to rebuild them because, in all fairness, most of them are literally falling down just from the rain and the lack of repair, and it's a very sad thing to see. And these were vibrant places. These were amazing, vibrant places. And I give you the example. We had in Chicago, where I have a great building, we have in Chicago, Nabisco, they're moving, as you know, they're moving to Mexico. Ford, out of Michigan. That's why I'm going to win Michigan. I have been working with Michigan for 2 years. Every time I talk about automobile companies leaving Michigan. They're moving to Mexico, folks, okay? And more cars are coming in from Japan. And you see what's happening. And that's why when I won Michigan, everybody was surprised. They said, oh, Donald Trump won Michigan. I wasn't surprised because I talk about it all the time. So what's going to happen is I will win states that nobody thought were possible. Yeah, get them out. That's all right. Just throw them out. Throw them out. Get them out of here. That's my people making all the noise, but don't worry about it. Yeah, get them out of here. So in Indiana, listen to this, folks. Don't worry about them. They have very weak voices, very weak. Honestly, you can't hear these people. So listen. So in Indiana, they lost the air conditioning company, as you know. Everybody know the name of the air conditioning company? Carrier. So Carrier just dismisses 1,400 people. They say they left. One of the reasons I won Indiana in a landslide, I've been talking about this problem for over a year. When I heard about it, I've been talking about it. So for years, the politicians in Washington are coming up with plans to get our companies to stay put, not to move to Mexico, not to lose their business. They want to give them low-interest loans. They don't need low-interest loans. How about the companies that took the low-interest loans and then moved because we have stupid people? Okay, so you ready? So I said, they don't want loans. They don't want anything. Here's what we're going to do. And you know, and it's the same, and it's so simple. Nobody wants to say, I don't think they're smart enough in Washington to know. But I would tell, as an example, I would tell Carrier, or Ford, or Nabisco, or hundreds of other companies, they're leaving in waves, folks. We're not going to have anybody here. They're leaving in waves. And the taxes that aren't going to be paid, and everyone else's taxes. By the way, I have the biggest tax decrease of anybody running for office, and that includes the biggest tax decrease for the middle class, for business, the biggest tax decrease by far. And by the way, just before we get on to the finishing with this Carrier company that I am not liking, and I'm not buying any more air conditioners from Carrier, and neither should you. And neither should you. But just so you understand, before we get on, Social Security, we're going to save it. Your Medicare, we're going to save it. We're not going to cut you up and chop you up into pieces. We're going to save it. Okay. So I said to myself, it's so easy. What you do is you tell the people at Carrier, I understand you're leaving. They'll say, that's correct. And you know, I always joke. I say, I really want to make these calls myself. But how does the President of the United States call carrier? I mean, I'm dealing with some guy, some president of carrier who I'm not in love with right now. That makes me negotiate even better, if you want to know the truth. So here's what happened. I say, listen, I hear you just let 1,400 people go. Guess what? If you move to Mexico, enjoy yourself, build a wonderful factory, every single unit that you make that comes across our now strong border will be taxed at the rate of 35%. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, folks, they will not leave. They will not leave. Now, let's assume it's too late. Let's assume their plant is built, they've opened up. We say the same thing, except now they don't have the option. They've already left. And I got to know a lot of the people that were terminated from Indiana, in Indiana. They come to all of my speeches. Some of them came to like every speech. Every time I'd say, where are my carrier people? And there'd be a group of people raising their hands. They were really treated unfairly. And a lot of other people were treated unfairly. And you have people here, because I looked at your numbers in New Mexico, I have to be honest. Not so good. You know, I have my statisticians. Look, and I wrote down, this is my speech right here. Look, is that good? Hey, I don't use the teleprompters. I don't use the teleprompters. We should have a law that when you're running for president, you're not allowed to use a teleprompter, because you end up getting some stiff that just reads a speech. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. It is wonderful to be in Albuquerque. It's wonderful to be with you. What happens if the teleprompter breaks these people? Do you ever see some of these teleprompter people? When the teleprompter doesn't work, it's like unbelievable. You know what they do? They walk off the stage. They leave. They can't talk. So anyway, but no, there's my teleprompter right there, my speech. Yeah. I guarantee you that when it comes to what we're looking for, which is being smart, I will create more jobs. I borrowed not so long ago, in the end of the 70s, 80s, $1 million, and you saw my filings last week. I filed I think it's more than 100 pages of numbers, massive numbers, that I have a company now worth more than $10 billion, okay, $10 billion. Some of the greatest assets in the world. I own Doral. I own Turnberry in Scotland. I own buildings in Manhattan. I own a big chunk of the bankers, of the Bank of America building in San Francisco. I own many, many things. Okay, land all over the place, lots of good stuff. Some of the greatest assets in the world. And you know what? That's the kind of thinking. If you look at those numbers, very little debt, tremendous cash flow, and I'm not saying that to brag, folks. I'm saying it because that's the kind of thinking our country needs. We owe $19 trillion. We owe $19 trillion. And I see this lowlife tonight, you know, I see this lowlife. She puts on an ad. Did you know that Donald Trump was rooting against housing because he wanted housing to go down because he wanted to buy? And they've got some clip of me from many years ago where I'm saying, yeah, if it goes down, I'm going to buy. I'm a businessman. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I'm supposed to do. I mean, I'm a businessman. So when the housing market goes down, I guess what she'd like to do, you see, if she did it, she'd want to buy at the top. I like it. If it goes down, it goes down. Hey, I feel badly for everybody. What am I going to do? I'm in business, okay? Never thought I was going to run for office. I even said things. I mean, I joke with friends and this and Howard Stern and everybody. We have fun. Who the hell ever thought I was going to be running for political office before? Who thought I was going to be doing this? But I borrowed $1 million, paid it back, and now it's over $10 billion. And that is the kind of thinking we need in this country, folks, okay? We need that kind of thinking. When you look at what's going on, take a look at TSA. Take a look at what's going on at our airports. I have friends that are calling me up saying they're not going to travel anymore. They have to wait 4 hours. One guy called me up yesterday. He's been online for 5 hours, and then he misses his plane, okay? TSA is a disaster. Our airports are a disaster. Our infrastructure is a disaster. Everything we've got in this country is a disaster. You go over to China. You go over to places in the Middle East. You see airports that are the most incredible things you've ever seen. And then we come home to LaGuardia, which is like a third world airport. We come home to Kennedy. We come home to LAX in Newark. We come home to these airports. They look like just, I better not say it because I'll get in trouble. Okay. I better not say it. Say it. Say it. Say it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you saying say it. No. I've learned, don't even joke a little bit. You know, don't even joke a little bit. You know, Ed Rendell, okay, he was the mayor of Philadelphia. He's a big Hillary Clinton supporter, okay? Think of this. I was so angry when I heard him say this. But Ed Rendell, big women love, and I love women. Shout it out, shout it out. She said, women love you. I love women. Okay. But Ed Rendell, one of Hillary Clinton's biggest supporters, said that half the women in the United States, something to this effect, half the women in the United States are ugly. Nobody even talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Can you imagine if I made that statement? It would be the electric chair. And I don't believe that either, by the way. But he made that statement, and I said, oh, he said, you don't even hear about it. You don't even hear about it. I mean, he was a big wheel, and now he's big in the Hillary Clinton campaign, and you don't even hear about it because there's a double standard. If you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, it's a total double standard from the sleaze back there, I'm telling you. A total double standard. So when my friends in the front are screaming, say it, Mr. Trump, say it, they just want to get me in trouble. No, I won't say. But look. So in New Mexico, Albuquerque, here's the story. Bill Clinton, since he signed NAFTA in 1994, not too long ago, the number of manufacturing jobs in Albuquerque has declined by 40%. Come on, what's wrong with you people in Albuquerque? You're not going to take that. I have to say it's a federal problem. I'm not blaming, I'm blaming the federal government because they allow all sorts of things between devaluations that shouldn't be allowed with China, and we have such power over China. You know, they have, and I love China, I love everybody, okay? I love everybody. I'm not angry, just so you understand, I'm not angry at the Chinese leadership. I'm not angry at Mexico's leadership for ripping us off 15. You know, we have a trade deficit, 58 billion with Mexico. I'm not angry with that. I'm angry at our leaders for being so stupid to allow it to happen. So Hillary Clinton, now look, I got these numbers. You know, I have a person, he's a statistician. He's so excited by his job, he loves it. To me, it sounds like a pretty boring job. But every time I just say, do me a favor, get me the numbers on Albuquerque, get me numbers on New Mexico, okay? Hillary Clinton supported NAFTA and has repeatedly praised the Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP. It's a disaster. It's going to be worse than NAFTA. Okay, since 2000, the number of unemployed people in Albuquerque has nearly doubled. Come on, folks, what's wrong with you? It's your fault? Is it your fault or is it your government's fault? It's your government's fault. Since 2000, the number of people on food stamps in New Mexico has tripled. We have to get your governor to get going. She's got to do a better job, okay? Your governor has got to do a better job. She's not doing the job. Hey, maybe I'll run for governor of New Mexico. I'll get this place going. She's not doing the job. We got to get her moving. Come on, let's go, Governor. Since 2000, the median household income in New Mexico has declined by $2,000. Now, think of that. Think of that. $2,000. So you're working harder today, okay? You're working harder today than you worked probably ever. And these numbers aren't, you know, they're very consistent. I went through New York and Pennsylvania and all these places, and I didn't even have, by the time I got finished, I didn't even need him to give me the numbers. because they were all a disaster. Every state down 45%, manufacturing jobs gone, everything gone. It's really a very sad. You know, we kid, we have fun, we're having a good time and a lot. It's amazing that we can have a good time when the subject matter is so bad, okay? And then you hear a 5% unemployment rate, except that it's such a phony number. That number was put in for presidents and for politicians so that they look good to the people. Because you have millions and millions of people who have given up looking for jobs, and they are considered statistically employed, which is crazy. All right, now look, and one thing I have to say, Hillary Clinton is so bad for African-American youth. She is not going to create jobs, and she is going to be a disaster. And you see numbers coming out. I'm doing great with African Americans. I'm doing great with so many different groups, And I'm starting to do great with Hispanics. Did you see? True. A recent poll came out, not that I want to use this as a standard, but I'm now 1 point higher than Romney in the election, 1 point higher with Hispanics. Now, listen to this. So in Nevada, where you have a very big Spanish population, really big Hispanic population, they did exit polls. I won easily when we had 12 candidates. I won easily with the Hispanics. We're going to win with Hispanics because people, let me tell you, people that have homes and have jobs, they're Hispanic, whether they're from Mexico or any place else, they're Hispanic. They don't want their homes taken away, and they don't want their jobs taken away. And they don't want it. So we're going to have, I think we're going to do fantastically. I employ thousands of Hispanics. I've employed thousands of people from Mexico. They're incredible people. You look at Doral in Miami. I own Doral. You look at places that I own. Thousands. These are unbelievable people. But you know what? We're going to protect their job. We're going to protect their homes. And when they hear it right, and by the way, I settled with Univision. They paid me a lot of money. So now they're going to treat me good. They're going to treat me good. No, Univision's nice. But they gave me money and everything, and now we're all friends. I might even have to do a television interview with a certain anchor. Do we know who we're talking about? Should I do it? Should I do it? Nah. So, taxpayers in New Mexico spend nearly $1 billion a year. Think of that. Taxpayers in New Mexico spend nearly $1 billion a year to support illegal immigrants residing in the state. This includes approximately, and this is a beauty, $12,000 a year to educate the illegal immigrant student, okay? Now, here's a bad one. These are all right out of the book, folks, I hate to say. Last year, the number of homicides in Albuquerque increased by 35%. A lot of that's economic. A lot of it's economic. Now, here's a beauty that you're going to all love. Syrian refugees are being relocated in large numbers to New Mexico. If I was governor, that wouldn't be happening. I couldn't care less. They say the governors have no choice. If I'm governor, I have a choice, okay? Believe me. Believe me. And it's happening all over the country. We're taking in people from Syria. Do you ever notice the migration? First of all, there's so many men, and they're so young and so strong, right? Where are the women? I mean, they have women, but not very many. There are not very many children. And then you wonder, how come so many have cell phones? You ever notice? They have cell phones. They're walking in the migration. Now, look, I have a bigger heart than anybody. I have as big a heart as anybody here. We got to help people. And what we'll do is we'll build safe zones in Syria where probably they want to be in a certain way. And we'll get the Gulf states to pay for it because we don't have the money. All right? But we can't allow them to come into the United States. We can't. We don't have any idea who they are, where they come from. But what about the cell phones with the Syrian flag on it, okay? They're taking away cell phones from people. They're making phone calls on their cell phones, and their cell phone has the Syrian flag. And by the way, worse than the Syrian flag, they have some horrible pictures on some of those cell phones, all right, folks? And we're taking them into our country. We have no idea who they are. There's no documentation, and you watch, wait till you see what happens. You're going to have problems like you never believed. And we're taking them in by the tens of thousands. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. And if we're not going to have a country left anymore, folks. We're not going to have a country left, okay? We're not. So, and that's so true. That's so sad. Look at what happened in Europe. Look at what's going on in Germany. Look at what's going on in Sweden, where they had virtually no problems, and now they have a section, and it is rife with killings. It's rife with all sorts of problems and crime. But look at what's going on in Europe. How stupid are we, folks? How stupid are we? We're not going to take this crap anymore. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. I mean, who really knows? Maybe it's the ultimate Trojan horse. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to build, in terms of the drugs, and, you know, people fly in and all sorts, but that wall is so important. We're going to build a wall, and it's going to be a real wall. It's going to be a wall that's going to make that ceiling look quite low, and it's fairly high. And it's going to get built fast, and it's going to look beautiful, because someday they'll call it the Trump wall. Who the hell knows? But we are going to build a real wall. We're going to build a wall. You know, I don't know if you saw, we have a lot of the folks here that I know because I've seen a couple of them, and they congratulated me. 3 weeks ago, the Border Patrol agents endorsed, 16,500 endorsed Donald Trump. Okay? They have never, ever endorsed a candidate for president. This is the first time they've done it. Sheriff Joe Arpaio endorsed Donald Trump. Jan Brewer, they're all endorsed, because I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I so know what I'm doing. But they all endorsed Donald Trump. We're going to have such a border, and it's going to be respected. And drugs aren't going to flow in and destroy your youth, because we're poisoning our youth, and many other people, by the way. And I owe it more than anybody, I really do, because New Hampshire, I owe it so much to them, but I owe it to the whole country. But New Hampshire, I look at these fields and these beautiful lakes and these beautiful rivers, and I say, what's your biggest problem? And they say, heroin. I say, heroin? What are you talking about? They say, heroin's our biggest problem. Drugs. And they come across the southern border, and there's nothing we can do it. And you know what, Mr. Trump? It's cheaper than buying candy for our youth. And our youth is all hooked. Our youth is all hooked. And I said to the people of New Hampshire, I have no idea if I'm going to win. I was not expected to win New Hampshire because that was Jeb Bush country. And I won in a landslide. I won in a landslide. And I said to those people that we're going to stop it. But we're not going to stop it just for them. You go down to South Carolina. You go up to Massachusetts. You go to Alabama, where we had phenomenal. I won the entire South. We won the entire, and I won with evangelicals. I won with everything. We are winning big league. And all of those people were defeated. Okay, they were defeated. And some don't like me very much, but that's okay. Believe me. Listen to this. 66, it was reported just yesterday, 66,000 negative ads. 66,000. I said, how can I win an election? Every time I turned on a television, it was a negative ad. Mostly phony. Mostly phony. Not all 100%, but mostly. 66,000, $100 million, more than that, of negative ads against me, okay? And you know, when I'm rough with people, they say, you didn't treat Jeb Bush nicely. The guy took $12 million of ads against me, and they were nasty ads, and they weren't true, so that's okay. But look. We have one person left. She is a total lightweight, believe me. She is not, you know, I watch her speaking. She always uses the teleprompter. I watch her speaking. We are going to win North and South and East and West. And I will never say this, but she screams, it drives me crazy. I didn't say it. I can't listen. She goes, and Donald Trump is a terrible person. And he wanted to buy housing when it was at a low point. Who the hell doesn't? Who doesn't? It is so sad that he took these people and he bought houses. And it's unbelievable. Oh, and he chaptered. He went bankrupt with his casino company. I made so much money in Atlantic City, folks. But, you know, I'm a business guy. Like all of the other big shots, we all use the laws. We use the laws of the country to our advantage. I'm a business guy. So I took these companies. I made a fortune. What am I doing? I didn't know I was going to run for politics. Probably I would have rather made less and maybe not do it, but I did it. But everybody did it. You look at the biggest names. I won't use their names. Look at the biggest names in business. So she's saying, and he did this and he did that. And I say to myself, it's so sad. You know, when you look, it's so sad, it's so pathetic to watch what's happening with our country, to watch the amateurs. We have total rank amateurs. But when I saw the ad about the housing, and people on the plane, they said to me, you know, that's the kind of thinking we need in the country, somebody that knows how to do that. So here's what we're doing. We are going to do something that's going to be so spectacular. We are going to start winning again. We don't win anymore. We don't win anymore. We are going to rebuild our military. We are going to, just listen. It is going to be so strong. We are going to knock the hell out of ISIS. And by the way, I have to tell you this. We are defending the world, folks. And I tell these people back there, I say, no, we defend Japan. And I heard a general the other day get on television. Donald Trump doesn't realize that Japan pays us 50% of the cost of defending them. I said, why aren't they paying us 100%, right? This general, he was so happy. He said, Donald Trump doesn't. Now look, I like Japan, lots of friends. We can't do it anymore, folks. We're defending Japan. We're defending, you talk about monetary manipulation, how about Germany? We're defending Germany. It's an economic behemoth. We're defending Saudi Arabia. So I say to the press, I had a very good meeting, actually, with some of the press. And some of it reported, but most of it don't. They never follow up. They say, Donald Trump wants Japan to arm. I don't want Japan to arm, but it's possible that if they don't pay up, they're going to have to arm, folks, okay? They're going to have to arm. So that when North Korea acts up, let them worry about North Korea instead of us worrying about North Korea, okay? I mean, look at our deficits. Look at our budgets. We're defending. You know, somebody said recently, we spend more by many, many times on military than anybody else, right? You know what we're doing? We're defending everybody. We're not spending it on us. We're defending everybody. You look at NATO. So I was asked a question by an expert. I won't use his name. But I was asked a question by an expert about NATO. And look, I've been in business, but I know a lot about NATO. And I have common sense. I said, here's the problem with NATO. Number one, it's obsolete because it wasn't designed for terror. It was designed for the Soviet Union, which isn't even there anymore. But Russia's plenty of threat. Okay. But we have to redo it. But the really big problem with NATO, and I told them this, you have 28 countries, but many of the countries are not paying what they're supposed to be paying. So I said they have to pay up, do-re-mi, right? They have to pay up. They've got to pay up. Then we have Japan. Then we have Germany. Then we have Saudi Arabia. Now, Saudi Arabia, when the oil price was up, they're still making a lot of money. Saudi Arabia was making $1 billion a day. Why aren't they paying us? Now, here's what happened. A very big diplomat, a very big person said, you know, Donald, I thought you were being too tough, but I've dealt with many countries, and they say, man, if Trump becomes president, it's over. We're going to have to start paying up. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And when that happens, and when I have other people dealing with us fairly, like China, because they're going to respect us, I made a fortune dealing with China. The Bank of America building, 1290 Avenue of the Americas building, a lot of, with a great partner. But I have so much stuff. I've sold condos. I've done so great. It's been such an incredible thing. What's going to happen is this. We're going to be tough. We're going to be smart. We're going to have great military. We're going to take care of our vets. We're going to start winning again like you've never seen. We are going to win. We are going to win. We are going to win with our military. We are going to win for our vets. We are going to win on the border. We are going to win with trade deals. They are going to be from the most incompetent deals I've ever seen in my life. They are going to be great deals where we bring jobs back into our country and where we start making things again. We are going to win with education. We're going to end Common Core nonsense. We're going to bring our education local. We are going to win with health care. We are going to repeal and replace Obamacare, which is a total disaster. And we're going to win, believe me. We're going to win on terror. We don't have our country anymore. People are afraid to go out. People are afraid to go to airports. They're afraid to go on airplanes anymore. We are going to win so much. And we're going to straighten up this horrible situation at your airports. It's just one other thing. Because our country doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work. We don't win, we lose. We are going to start winning again. We're going to win with everything. We're going to win so much. You are going to get so sick and tired of winning. I say this kiddingly, but I love saying it. You are going to get so tired of winning. You're going to say, please, please, Mr. President, we can't take it anymore. The people of New Mexico cannot take it. You're winning too much. We can't stand it. Please, don't win so much. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to keep winning. We are going to make America great again. I love you, New Mexico. I love you. I love you.